stop somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on. My Straight Talk family, you hear that theme song, then you know it's time for another edition of Straight Talk, because it is Thursday night and we come your way every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the PM. And we are on the World Wide Web, so we can greet you wherever you are in this globe. And I know that some of you are in Africa. There's some of you in Asia. There's some of you in Europe. And there are a whole lot of you all over North America. But we come to you from the Twin Island paradise of St. Kitts and Nevis. Yes, two beautiful islands, one lovely paradise. So they say charity begins at home. So I must say good night, St. Kitts and Nevis, and good night to the entire Caribbean region. And like I say, good night to the world. And I say to those of you in the diaspora all over the world, I'm at liberty to say good night. I can't say good morning, and I will say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And I know there are first-timers. We do get first-timers every time around, and I'm eternally grateful for those who share the link. Just continue to do that. When you share the link, we get our first-timers, and for the first-timers, we must inform you that Straight Talk comes your way every Monday and Thursday night from 8 to 10 in the PM. And Straight Talk is a public service program. Underline that, public service program that provides a forum for you to discuss all issues of national interest. Be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. On this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Pattis Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation, my Straight Talk family, on yet another occasion. And for the first timers, I must as well inform you that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails, and if you're so minded to call, the numbers are on your screens, on your monitors there, and you can access the program as long as I give you that heads up when we will open the lines. Some of you like what I call the cloak of anonymity. So we give you access via our email platform, and that email address is also on your screen, on your monitors. And it's Straight Talk, that's one word, Straight Talk Patches, that's one word, beg your pardon, at gmail.com. We normally have what we call our observations in review. And we give you an opportunity, and it's an integral part of the program, yes? And we give you an opportunity to reflect on some things we may have raised, and some things that are current clarifications. We provide clarifications as well for some things we may have said. And it's a part of the program that I know many look forward to. And before I go in further to, there are some of you again who access us via Alexa. That's live, and we understand we've been having some problems in recent times that is being sorted out. And I thank, but try tonight, say Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio, and we do apologize for that lack of streaming one or two occasions. There are some of you as well who have made donations to support our efforts here on Straight Talk, and I cannot words cannot express how thankful we are. And I can assure you and reassure you that no matter how small your contribution is, it helps. It helps us to continue these important discussions, as we say colloquially, one full basket. It also helps to defray our costs and maintain our commitment to public service. Others who wish to donate can simply scan the code on your screen. And I promise to give you a Zelle contact, because some have been asking me about that. I will provide that on your screen. I did promise to put it up tonight. It was an oversight, forgive me. But thank you again for your support and for helping us to keep the dialogue alive. We always welcome our junior brigade. Yes. They too are integral to the program. I saw Travis and Travon, was it yesterday? Young Dwayne, trust that things are well. Tristan, Shama, Kevin, Rue, and Jamal. Of course, we can never ever forget Neymar and Saraya. Hope you are doing well. School started on Monday, and hope everybody's gone back to school and now catching up after that Christmas jubilation. It's time to buckle down and get into the books. And to that special lady in St. Louis, trust that all is well. And the Queen in Texas, I got your message. I'll confirm as well when I'm off the program. But the observation we want to start with tonight, and just to let you know, after our observations, we will begin our thesis for tonight, which I have titled, Bucket with Holes Better Than Bucket Without Bottom. Yes, bucket with holes better than bucket without bottom. I don't know. I know some of you may not agree with that, because bucket with holes, they still leak. And bucket without bottom, they can't hold anything. So just spread the word nonetheless that Straight Talk is live on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Alexa. And many in St. Kitts and Nevis, as my first observation, I must say, we cannot wait for 2.5 more years to get rid of this incompetent and corrupt administration. We just cannot wait. Well, that is so. The people in Antigua and Barbuda head to the polls next Tuesday to vote in a by-election to fill the vacant seat in St. Peter following the death of the colorful politician Asset Michael. The Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party and the UPP, I think that's the United Progressive Party of Baldwin Spencer fame. But both parties have already nominated candidates to contest this by-election slated for Tuesday, 14 January, come next Tuesday, 14 January 2025. It's going to be a very interesting election. That one seat is important to both parties. Straight Talk will keep you posted by Straight Talk family, but both parties have already nominated their candidates.
All eyes are on St. Peter as political hopefuls are duly nominated to contest the by-election scheduled for January 14. United Progressive Party candidate for St. Peter, George Wenner, is the first nominee to arrive. He is flanked by the party's executive members and residents of the constituency. The UPP hopes to capture the seat, which has long been a stronghold of the Antigua-Barbuda Labour Party. Wenner is confident that come January 14, he will do just that.
It's a new age in St. Peter, transformational time in St. Peter, and we're looking forward to great things. I'm not a bank nor a banker, but if it's one thing, I'm an advocate, and we're here to bring transformational politics and real representation to the people of St. Peter.
United Progressive Party leader, the Honourable Jamal Pringle, is confident in Wenner's chances of success. He describes infrastructure in the constituency as underdeveloped.
You have a government holding this constituency, the ALP holding this constituency for the last 40 years, many of which they are in government, and the condition, and the road condition, the cleanliness of this constituency, it shows total neglect. And I believe the people are satisfied that change is necessary, and they will bring that change on January 14.
The Antigua-Barbuda Labour Party, however, is intent on reclaiming St. Peter. A sea of red follows ABLP candidate Rawdon Turner. Cheers erupt as he too is duly nominated. Turner, confident in victory, says the endorsement of the family of former St. Peter MP, the Honourable Asset Michael, further energizes his campaign.
To have your one-time opponent's family endorse you now on the political front, it's very important. I'm honoured, and I know I have a lot to contribute to the constituency, and I have some very big shoes to fill, and I intend to do my best to not let the people of St. Peter down, not let the people of Antigua down.
Prime Minister and leader of the Antigua-Barbuda Labour Party, the Honourable Gaston Brown, is confident the party will reclaim the St. Peter seat. Turner, he says, has the home court advantage.
Our instructions to the candidate, Comrade Turner, are to maul Wenner, to totally demolish him. At the end of the day, I believe that the UPP has disrespected the people of St. Peter by putting in a loser, a known loser, a non-belonger as a potential representative.
Former Member of Parliament for St. Peter, the Honourable Asset Michael, made history in January 2023, becoming the first independent Member of Parliament to be elected in the Lower House on mainland Antigua. Prior to this, Michael had held the St. Peter seat on a Labour Party ticket. His murder on November 5 sent shockwaves across the nation and region. Rakib Aparicio reporting for ABS News.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, coming there from ABS News in Antigua. And Straight Talk, beg your pardon, will keep you posted on this by-election result for St. Peter, which was held by Asset Michael for 20 years or more, I believe, and by the Labour Party in Antigua and Barbuda for much longer than that. And we can't wait to have elections. 2.5 years, that's too long. We need to have elections before that in St. Kitts and Nevis. We can't take this any longer. And our second observation, I promised last week that I'll provide the evidence relating to the most cruise ship passenger arrival in one day at Port Zante. That was way back in 2017, my Straight Dog family. I do believe that at times when you hear these politicians speaking, you need to bring them, you need to keep them honest, I should say, because they fabricate all sorts of things. 11,000 passengers and the jumping up. But over 16,000 passengers landed in St. Kitts here some 7 years ago. And that, we believe, the attraction of the islands, I must say, first of all, but more importantly, the infrastructure. That second cruise pier is still the talk of the cruise ship industry, my Straight Dog family. And we trust and hope, though, that the current Minister of Tourism, Marsha Hendrickson, will work much harder to return St. Kitts to Marquis Port status that we enjoyed just before we were unfortunately hit, or the world was, by this coronavirus-induced pandemic. We came to know it as COVID-19. And in our thoughts, observations, my Straight Dog family, Straight Dog has not been privy to any further report on the possible homicide involving Dr. Simonette Williams. And I said possible or possible homicide. Yes, it was not a mistake, as this is what many people are speculating. And this young medical doctor displayed the courage to speak truth to power. And she's no longer on the land of living here in St. Kitts and Nevis. But there's a theory that is also being considered in that Dr. Williams brings the total of high-profile deaths in recent times to 3. When one thinks about well-known entertainer Imark, PLP constituency 2 chairman or former chairman Niles, affectionately known as Milk, and now this young doctor. All 3 have gone to the great beyond under mysterious circumstances. And questions are now being asked, my Straight Dog family, if St. Kitts and Nevis have enrolled in extrajudicial killings. Yes. Questions are being asked if St. Kitts Nevis have now enrolled in extrajudicial killings. Because we are hearing nothing from the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis police force. They tell us, and rightly so, when they have charged or arrested someone for murder. What's happening now, Commissioner James Sutton? You cannot be seen, Commissioner, to be loyal to your salary or to the nice SUV that you drive and the government-owned property in which you live, plus the other perks afforded to a commissioner of police. Commissioner Sutton must be seen to be loyal to the office he holds. And that makes him accountable to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. So unless I missed it, Straight Talk has received no update on these tragic deaths, and will keep you posted, my Straight Talk family. And those are my observations in review for tonight. And I move right into my thesis, which I said I have titled Bucket with Holes Better Than Bucket Without Bottom. And that's strange but true is a statement that I got from our Prime Minister Terence Michael July. So I have adopted his statement, bucket with holes better than bucket without bottom. My Straight Talk family, it's a new year, and I have already extended New Year greetings to all of you. But hear this. It's always nice to do things twice. So I here and now wish you once again a happy and healthy 2025. It is normal, or should I say it is traditional, that at the beginning of each year, we all make what we call our New Year's resolutions. Don't you? But for 2025, however, I am going to be a little different, as I am moved to make instead a New Year's confession. And my confession tonight, my Straight Talk family, comes from the bottom of my heart. For that reason, I must tell you that it is extremely difficult. As a matter of fact, it is painful to listen to our Prime Minister, no matter what presentation he is making. It is difficult and painful because each time he insults our knowledge, he fabricates, he tells so much lies. Every time he opens his mouth, no matter the occasion, Terence Michael Jew insults our intelligence and comes across each time as being daft with the idiotic propositions and or the silly pronouncements he makes. After his last round table on Tuesday the 7th of January, someone called me and asked if the Prime Minister drinks or smokes, as certainly he seemed to be high on something. I was very careful, my Straight Talk family, not to comment. I made no comment whatsoever to that question. But when he talks, when Terence Michael July talks nonsense about the CBI being different to the SIDF, somebody must tell Dr. July that the SIDF was a component of the CBI, introduced in 2006 by his colleague and former Prime Minister Denzel Llewellyn Douglas. Dr. July must also ask his newfound friend and snake Mark Brantley in Nevis. He should ask Brantley if Nevis benefited from the SIDF, my Straight Talk family. And if the snake is honest, he would tell you this, or he'll tell July this, my Straight Talk family.
There was a lot of talk about the SIDF. In fact, one Calypsonian, King Bingi, in Nevis, sang a catchy song, said we want to SIDF money. You all remember that? It was an anthem, a rallying cry. Money, I'm told, $1.2 billion flowed through the coffers of the SIDF. Nevis got nothing. That was our reality. And it took a team unity government in 2015 to change that. Because it was only with the coming of team unity that the people of Nevis were finally able to put a board member on the SIDF who could take a proposal from the NIA for funding. And I made the point recently because we opened a new treasury building, a new financial complex in Nevis. And I said and made bold to say that if people pass and call it the SIDF building, that was okay with me. Because if it wasn't for the funding provided by the SIDF, that building, we never know if it could have been realized. When I traveled here this afternoon, I departed from the water taxi pier at Wally. Beautiful pier. You could have a party on it. And that would not have been possible were it not for team unity.
So when you hear Dr. July spreading all this garbage about $300 million and all sorts of nonsense he's spewing, you sometimes ask yourself, really, if he's on something. Were you aware, my Stray Dog family, that we in St. Kitts still have an indigenous population? So Dr. July wants to cap the CBI numbers. Why? He said he wants to protect our indigenous population, he said. But St. Kitts and Nevis, along with many Caribbean islands, did not have an indigenous population when Europeans arrived, in the sense that no distinct, long-established group of people had remained on the island for thousands of years prior to colonization. However, it is important to note that the island was inhabited by indigenous peoples before European contact. Specifically, beg your pardon, by the Kalinago or Caribbean Arawaks peoples. However, with the onset of European colonization in the 16th century, the indigenous peoples of St. Kitts and Nevis and other islands in the region faced violent displacement, disease, and destruction of their societies. The Kalinago population was decimated after European settlement, and then came the importation of enslaved Africans to the island. But my Stray Dog family, today, there is no significant indigenous population remaining in the islands, except in Dominica, I think it is. There's a Kalinago territory where a small indigenous community continues to live. But that's a short history lesson, however, my Stray Dog family. That's not why we're here tonight. But Stray Dog has been warning the nation for the past 2.5 years that Prime Minister July was squandering opportunities for future national development and prosperity. And now we can see the devastating consequences every day. Cost of groceries climbing. Electricity outage, my Stray Dog family. Water shortage all over St. Kitts. Now affecting the schools as well. The Bassi High School staff, management and staff sent this message out to parents, which says, due to the current water situation in the Taylor's community, The water at Bastille High School is being filtered through water tanks, my Straight Dog family, and therefore not potable. Parents are asked to provide their children with drinking water, as it is not safe for students to drink the water in the pipes. That's on the labor. That's on the soccer engineer, who has so much chat when you hear him anytime. A budget deficit because of the serious reduction in CBI revenue, my Straight Dog family. According to the witty Calypsonian Unexpected, Dr. July and his cabinet colleague behave like pigeons, according to Unexpected, that are always in the air. The director of audit, my Straight Dog family, wrote this in the audit report for 2023. We could imagine when we see the report for 2024. Yes, they're like pigeons, my Straight Dog family, always flying. And you see there, appropriation warrants to supplement the original budget for 2023. A whopping $250 million, which increased the original budget by 24%. Imagine, my Straight Dog family. You go to the parliament, you get approval to spend $1, and you spend $1.25. You increase your budget by 25%. $250 million. What recklessness, my Straight Dog family. That's why we have all these difficulties, I should say. But no matter what is said about social assistance, the inadequacy of the government's relief effort is obvious. The reports coming from the Ministry of National Security would not surprise us if they were true, that the police lack transportation due to its non-payment, that's the ministry's non-payment for rental of vehicles. So the police officers can't do their jobs because of this incompetent Minister of National Security and Prime Minister. But there's a hole in the bucket, Prime Minister, and it needs plugging as quickly as possible. We cannot subscribe, nonetheless, to your rationale that the bucket with holes better than the bucket without a bottom. That's what you said, my Straight Dog family. That's what he said.
A bucket with no bottom. We have a bucket with some holes in the bottom. But that is better than a bucket with no bottom at all. A bucket with no bottom. We have a bucket with some holes in the bottom. But that is better than a bucket with no bottom at all.
You hear that, my Straight Dog family? That's the situation in St. Kitts, aptly described by the Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for finance, Terence Michael July. A bucket with no bottom. Or he has a bucket with holes, or some holes, according to him, is better than a bucket with no bottom. But he blames the former or the third Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, who demonstrated for the world to see, for all of us to see, that he knew how to spend money. So stop blaming other people, Terence Michael July. Take responsibility for your lack of management skills, and most of all, take action to plug the holes in your bucket. The other important point I must make, my straight talk family, is that the systems and processes of government have been incapacitated by Dr. July's administration's corruption, waste, and management. I told you, my straight talk family, about the raping of the government treasury as it relates to the millions of dollars wasted on the RLB Museum. He responded.
A bucket with no bottom.
He responded, my straight talk family.
A bucket with some holes in the bottom. But that is better than a bucket with no bottom at all.
Terence Michael Jew responded to the accusation or the rumor that $40 million was spent on the Bradshaw Museum. He said that was a lie. But he has not told us, or he don't dare to tell us how much money was spent to date on the Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw Museum, which is there in limbo. We told you about the misappropriation when it comes to the water bucket scam, my straight talk family. Millions of dollars have gone down a black hole, to use his own words, as no bids were solicited for the desalination plant project, and that desalination plant project is under the CBI, a public benefit option, I've confirmed. There are no bids for the Creative Arts Center, no bids for the new Bahasi High School, and the procurement legislation, my straight talk family, it is clear. The Procurement and Administration legislation, or Procurement and Administration Act, to be correct, is pellucid, as my friend would say, my straight talk family. All the actions are in contravention to the Procurement and Administration Act. Isn't this type of action what Garth Lucifer Wilkin said was criminal when he said this, my straight talk family?
Our Procurement Act requires that there be a competitive bidding process to ensure the government gets value for money, and it makes it a crime to spend money from the Treasury without the procurement process being completed.
Isn't what they're doing a crime? But the Attorney General turns a blind eye to this rampant corruption and the breaking of the law. And surely, Straight Talk knows why. You must know why. Because the Attorney General, Garth Lucifer Wilkie himself, transgressed the law. He broke the law. And that is just procurement. But we told you, my straight dog family, about the desalination plant. We will tell you now about the Bahasi High School. What about the EIAs, my straight dog family? What about the environmental impact assessments? The laws are clear, my straight dog family. Very, very clear. And you cannot, my straight dog family, just start to build like that. Section 14 of the Act speaks to public participation. And it is clear, my straight dog family, during the preparation of a development plan and before finally determining its content for submission to the minister, the board shall take such steps as it, in its opinion, will ensure that adequate publicity is given to the area in which or to which the plan relates to matters which proposes to include in the plan. That persons who may be expected to desire an opportunity of making representation to the board with respect to those matters, my Straight Dog family, are made aware that they are entitled to an opportunity of doing so, and that such persons are given an adequate opportunity of making such representation, my Straight Dog family. I told you about the EIA. That too is mandatory, my Straight Dog family. Yes, it is. The environmental impact assessment, section 26 of the Procurement and Administration Act. And it reads, unless the board otherwise determines environmental impact assessment, let me take that back. Unless the board otherwise determines environmental impact assessment shall, underline again, shall be required in respect of any application for development permission to which the third schedule applies. It says the board may require environmental impact assessment of any development other than the development set out in the third schedule, where it is of the opinion that significant adverse environmental impact could result, my Straight Dog family. It says quite clearly here what is required: the nature of the development activity proposed, the geographical extent, scale, and location of the proposed development, the extent and significance of the changes to the environment likely to be caused by the proposed development. And it goes on, my Straight Dog family. But go to this third schedule. Let's skip to the third schedule, my Straight Dog family. And the third schedule is clear. Very clear for all of us to see, my Straight Dog family. This is part and parcel of the Procurement and Administration Act. And hear what it says. Matters for which environmental impact assessment shall be required. Go down to number 11, my Straight Dog family. It's salination plants. You see that, my Straight Dog family? What about the Bastille High School? What about the Creative Arts Center? Just on the outskirts of the Bastille Aquifer well field. Why isn't there any public discussion on these matters? When Team Unity was about to construct the Bastille High School at Ponds, there was public discussion. All of them came. Those of them who are now in office, they came and attended. They got their questions answered. But now they're gone into office. And they don't give you information. They don't give you information, my Straight Dog family. It's their information. Why isn't the EIA for the desalination plant made public? Why isn't the EIA for the Bastille High School made public? Why isn't the EIA for the Creative Arts Center, which is on the border of the well field, the Bastille Valley Aquifer well field? That's where all the potable water is pumped from. Why can someone make those of that information accessible to the people? But my Straight Dog family, when I listen to Dr. July's comment about the bucket with holes and not the bucket without a bottom. It reminded me of an 18th century folk song based on protracted dialogue between two characters, Henry and Lisa. I think it's a German folk song. My memory serves me well. And there have been several versions, slightly different to each other, but all describe what is called a deadlock situation. Henry's bucket leaks, so Lisa tells him to repair it, the song goes. To repair the leaky bucket, Henry needs a straw. To cut the straw, he needs a knife. To use a knife, he needs to sharpen it. The sharpening stone must be damp, so he needs water. But to fetch water, he needs a bucket which has a hole in it, my Straight Talk family. When you examine the performance of Dr. July, there is what I call a lack of connection to real life impact. I mentioned this before. The actions of Dr. July and his administration do not reflect the needs or priorities of the country, as they are so disconnected from tangible outcomes and come across each time as being disingenuous. How can you take away $500 from poor people, for example, and give them $250 for 6 months from January to June? What a big budget scam on poor people. With revenue projected to decline, and remember what the PM told us about the 2024 CBI revenue. That we know about. We know there's a $238 million deficit for the 2024, and the further deficit will come in 2025. But Dr. July has no real plans for diversification despite the reduction in CBI revenue. Do you hear him talk about the Tabasco pepper seeds anymore? He just talks a nonsense talk and he goes quiet. But he likes to talk about money missing from Development Bank, money missing now from SIDF. Oh, what a man. But my Straight Talk family, every presentation made by Terence Michael July and his performance at his round table on Tuesday provides a typical example of politics where the idiom, the emperor has no clothes, would apply. To find another example of the naked emperor, we can just simply look at Terence Michael July's 2.5 years in office and leave it at that. I told you before as well about an old saying that goes like this: all mouth and no trousers. And that's typical July. In this case, the emperor retains his jacket and his shirt. But when it comes to running a country, there is need for a captain, there is need for a vessel that can sustain and effectively manage resources is much more fitting than the two options of a bucket with holes or a bucket without a bottom. A country like a vessel needs systems and structures that can hold and distribute resources such as wealth, services, infrastructure, and social support without losing them through inefficiency. That's where you find the holes. Or waste. That's when you find no bottom. The key, my Straight Talk family, is balance. Ensuring that resources are used effectively, sustainably, and in a way that ensures that they don't leak away, while also preventing overexploitation or misuse, which could be compared to a bottomless bucket where resources disappear without fulfilling their purpose. In a practical sense, this could translate to well-planned governance, policies that encourage long-term stability, the equitable distribution of wealth, and sustainable management of natural and human resources. It is about building a vessel strong enough to withstand challenges and continue supporting the nation's growth and well-being. The goal, my Straight Talk family, is to create a system where resources and opportunities are maintained and nurtured rather than drained or wasted. But this requires foresight, good leadership, and systems that allow for the ongoing replenishment and responsible use of the nation's supplies. But my Straight Talk family, this speaks to the importance of building sustainable and effective leadership in governance. We are in a crisis, and even Terence Michael July confessed that we are in a crisis, my Straight Talk family. He said this.
The CBI came to a crisis point. Water came to a crisis point. Energy and electricity came to a crisis point. These are the very basic things that you would need. Economy and national security came to a crisis point as well.
So we are in crisis. And my Straight Talk family, we have a bucket with holes. And it is no better than a bucket without a bottom. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family. And I am not going to change it. I will open the lines and now entertain your calls and your emails. But before I do, I always implore you, and I'll open the lines in a few moments. I always implore you that we must respect each other. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us ensure that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in doing and or saying those things, let us, my Straight Talk family, strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. At 6 before the 9 o'clock hour, we say good night to our first caller. Caller, you live.
Good night.
Good night, my brother. Good night, good night, good night, the Bible man. How art thou tonight?
Fine, Mr. Patrick. It is wonderful to listen to you.
Thank you.
Now, here is Psalms 118 said here, Patrick. Verse 5. I call upon the Lord in my distresses. The Lord answer me and set me in a large place. Number 6. The Lord is on my side. I will not fear what man can do to me. If I did, the Lord take pleasure with them and help me. Therefore, shall I see the desire upon them that fear. That is, I am not going to tell her. But when I think about this, and when you are born again believer, you don't got nothing to fear about. But listen, when people come down to you and believe yourself that they are more mighty than nothing could happen to them, my God, It makes you afraid. But you have to think about yourself that is a born again believer. And God is going to look after you. But I am not going no further than there because I want to hear what the other people going to say. But good night.
Good night, my dear brother. Thanks a lot for your spiritual interventions each time. I do look forward to that, and I know many people look forward to that as well. Let's go back to the lines. It says 3 before the 9 o'clock hour. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Good night, my dear. I recognize that voice now.
The quote for this evening.
Familiar voice now, yes.
The hard thing is that even though you already caught them lying, they still make excuses to prove that their lies are true. I repeat, the hard thing is that even though you already caught them lying, they still make excuses to prove that their lies are true. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your intervention.
You're welcome.
As usual. Prove that their lies are true. The hard thing is, tell me if I got this right, my Straight Talk family. Let's go back to the lines. I'll get back to that. Oh, no. The hard thing is that even though you already caught them lying, they still make excuses to prove that the lies are true. I trust I got that right. Yes, the lines are open, my Straight Talk family. And we are entertaining your calls. I also take some of the emails as well so we can be as efficient as possible tonight with our emails as well, which seem to have built up somewhat. But again, the lines are open. My Straight Talk family, if you have just joined me, we are looking at our thesis for tonight. Bucket with holes, better than a bucket without a bottom. A very interesting perspective we got today from our Prime Minister, or on Tuesday rather, from our Prime Minister. But let's go back to the lines and say, caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Patrick.
Yeah, good night, sir.
Good night, Patrick.
Yeah, good night, my lord.
Yeah, Patrick, I just wanted to be brief. Hello?
Yeah,
Patrick.
yes, sir.
Tunka Ada Ramos said he would like to see you. I wanted just to bring that to your attention.
Tunka Abdurrahman is in St. Kitts?
Yes, he's in St. Kitts. He told me that he wanted you to come by him.
Okay, abracadabra. I will see him. I'll go and see him tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll try to see him tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw him the New Year's Day.
Okay.
And we was discussing things. This is Cephas.
Okay, my
right?
Okay, my brother. Thanks a lot for that information.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome.
Abdurrahman, the best magician in the world from St. Kitts.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Yes, I'll try and see him. I haven't seen him for ages. Tunka.
I know.
Abdurrahman, yes. Yes.
Okay, then.
Thanks a lot for the information.
You're welcome 1,000,000 times.
Yes. Take care of yourself and be good to all whom you meet. And let's see if we can dispense of some of these emails as well, which have built up. Trust me. I will prefer my identity be kept back. We don't really release anyone's identity, so don't you worry about that. If you reveal the contents of this email on your platform, why? Because although I used to be a fearless and outspoken Calypsonian, I know I'm somewhat afraid. I have been victimized too many times. As you are aware, the National Bank has a new illegal policy where they are stealing money from poor people, where they unlawfully deduct $5.85 from their accounts monthly every time they go below $100. I have 3 accounts there, and $11.70 has been deducted. They only did not deduct from the other one because the balance is 0. They did not even warn clients about the policy. It is crazy. According to Chalky, somebody mad. By the way, I want back my money. And why the deafening silence about the AGM shareholders meetings announcement? Reads this email. Yes, we haven't heard any announcement about the AGM, which is long overdue. You must play Chalk Dust, Somebody Mad from YouTube on your show. Reads this other email. What? I think that's the same one. Also, a good one you can play on your show channel is Lord Cam Answer the Commission, or the Commission on YouTube. Right, reads this other email. And this individual has provided the information of the monies collected. Good night, Patches, reads this other email. Please allow me to wish you and the Straight Talk family a happy and blessed New Year 2025. I wish God's richest blessing and protection upon you always, and I do wish you the same. Patches, December 2024, beg your pardon, was a month when so many people in this country suffered severe depression under July due to him not giving us the customary double salary. We have grown accustomed to under Team Unity to bind us over for the Christmas season and to enable us to take part in carnival activities. Patches, oh how I wished, I prayed, I held out hope, and I even asked God to intervene and soften July's flint-like and uncompassionate heart and turned it into a heart of flesh and compassion so he could give us the usual double salary as compensation for all the suffering we endured under his failed leadership and squandermania of the nation's resources since his inauguration in 2022. This Christmas, Patches, was like the great biblical famine. But July, unlike Pharaoh and Joseph, refused to share with us some of the nation's corn to sustain us during our time of famine, while he and all his ministers had their palace guards in the dead of the night distributing ham, turkeys, and other goodies to a selected few of their loyal supporters, then asked them to keep the gifts quiet. Patches, not even my fervent prayer to heaven brought any positive results, as even the Lord recognized that July is beyond redemption and he too have given up on him. So we, for now, like Paul in the Bible, must live with July as our thorn in the flesh until the next election, when we will get that great opportunity to remove July's shackles from our bodies and send him and his imps of ministers packing to the bottomless pit, where they will wail and gnash their teeth. Reads this other email. Dear Mr. Liburd, what a time to be alive in this era of Jew and Congress. Two men who seem to believe that governance is an elaborate game of plugging holes with duct tape. The water crisis at the Basse High School is the latest masterpiece of their portfolio of failure. Students now drink from water tanks, supplying non-potable water, while parents are politely requested to moonlight as water delivery services. Bravo, what innovation. Dr. Drew once waxed philosophical, saying, "A bucket with holes is better than a bucket without a bottom." How profound. How profound. Except now we are left wondering, was this the governance metaphor or an actual policy directive? Because it's clear that the administration is operating with nothing but buckets full of holes, spilling incompetence at every turn. Basse High School is not just any school. It's one of our nation's flagship institutions, yet under July's clueless stewardship and Congress's tone-deaf utility management, the school has been reduced to begging parents for water because the pipes are more reliable for rust than hydration. What next? A government-sponsored Bring Your Own Water campaign. Perhaps students will soon be required to catch the rain as part of the new curriculum. The situation isn't just a crisis, it's a national embarrassment. This is the kind of leadership that makes you nostalgic for the days of no leadership at all. At least back then, no one would have dared to insult our intelligence with nonsensical metaphors, while our children are forced to endure third world conditions. Mr. Liburd, the public deserves to know that Dr. Drew and Congress are governing with the strategic brilliance of a toddler patching a sinking ship with bubblegum. Please let the nation hear this disgrace for what it is. Read this other email. Caller, I want to thank you for holding you alive. Hello, caller.
Good night. Yes, thank you, Patches. Good night, Brother Patches.
Yes, good night. Good night, my brother.
This is the voice that probably familiar with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to approach and engage at two issues that haunted the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. One, unsolved murders, unsolved criminal activities. And I'm speaking from the point of being a leader to lead and direct issues that affect the nationals. All the murders that are unsolved in the Federation. As a leader, they will not be ignored by my leadership. All. No stone will be unturned. Number two, and that includes national security. Number two, the hardship as I relate to poverty in St. Kitts. If I get the chance, should the people allow me, when it's the time due, I will make sure every mouth shall be fed, every house, every person should have a roof over their head because the land belongs to us. All the debts that are owed by debtors, if they don't pay up, it will be a reverse of the transaction because it is our land, and I'm pretty sure we'll have the support. No more debts, no more prolongation of what is due. So, to all who it may concern, start to pay up now. Let it go to where it should be. Square up your debts. But I will take care of the local needy. I will try to alleviate that poverty situation that we are facing. I will make sure sardine and the brands of cornflakes, cereals, whatever, be affordable. And you could name the rest. And when I say I, with the support of the people, if that is a mandate, so it be so. And so it be said, so it will be done. Thank you for having me. This is the first round. I will yield now. And if I get back in later, I will appreciate it. Thank you for the time. Bye, people. by folks, by citizens of St. Kitts. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you for your contribution as well, my Straight Dog family. Good night, Patches reads this other email. Once again, the Prime Minister has embarrassed the Federation by receiving bad advice from his military advisors Wallace, Fishy, and the first Nigerian commander by allowing him to commission 5 officers of the Defense Force in December, which is contrary to the Defense Force Act, which states only the Governor General can promote senior officers of the Defense Force. Is Marcella not fulfilling her role as Governor General? How can the Minister of National Security break the laws that he as the minister is supposed to uphold? Reads this email coming from an old soldier. Wow, very interesting perspective there. Good night, Mr. Liburd. Do you know that the Old Road police station had been without a government vehicle for over 1 year? Is this other email? Yes, those are my emails. Yes, I've managed to get the heap down, and thank you for participating with your emails, my Straight Dog family. And it's 9:13, is it? 9:13, yes. And my Straight Dog family, you may have just joined me. And we're looking at our thesis for tonight, which I've titled, Bucket with Hole Better Than Bucket Without a Bottom. And I adopted that as my title for tonight. It's not original. I adopted it from our Prime Minister, July, who in fact is the author of this.
A bucket with no bottom. We have a bucket with some holes in the bottom. But that is better than a bucket with no bottom at all.
Imagine that. My Straight Dog family, as I said earlier, when I heard that proposition, that statement from Dr. July, it made me reflect on that German folk song that dates back, I think it is the 18th century or maybe before or just thereabout. And it's a story involving Henry and Lisa. It's about a leaky bucket. And when I listened to Dr. July's comment about the bucket with holes and the bucket without a bottom, it reminded me of this 18th century folk song, like I said, based on a protracted dialogue between 2 characters. As I said, Henry and Lisa, about a leaky bucket. And there are several versions of this folk song, and they slightly differ, but all describe what is called a deadlock situation. Henry's bucket leaks, so Lisa tells him to repair it. But to repair the leaky bucket, my Straight Dog family, to repair the leaky bucket, Henry needs a straw. To cut the straw, he needs a knife. To use the knife, he needs to sharpen it. The sharpening stone must be damp, so he needs water. But to fetch water, he needs a bucket, which has a hole in it, my Straight Dog family. Let's go back to the lines and say good night to this caller. Thank you for holding, sir. Hello, caller.
Yeah, Patches, good evening, man. How you doing tonight, man?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Yeah, Happy New Year to you again, man, as you put that greeting out again tonight.
Yes, same to you.
Yeah, real quickly, I want to piggyback to a couple of shows back. Um, all of your listeners who was listening that night, I made a statement. It might have been back into last year now, a couple of shows back, before you probably went to the break. And when I talk sometimes, I hope people just don't take what I say every time on the surface. It was about Dr. Drew taking the Federation into Republic stage. What your listeners got to realize is listen to my comments that night, and I'm not trying to get Drew to take the country forward based on his performance. But you and the listeners as well have to realize that I was daring him. It was a daredevil. It was a daredevil, comment or whatever. And your listeners got to realize that it was a campaign promise, and I stand corrected on that. But I'm pretty sure that was part of his manifesto. In order for me to get the change I'm looking for, the Constitution now change and the electoral change, those were some words from the guy McMahon, and I just want to acknowledge him. And I'm in agreement with him pushing to get those changes. And the nation of St. Kitts and Nevis got to realize those are the changes the people has been asking for. And those are the top big topics that will strengthen the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis for all those who want to see those twin islands move as one country, like you stated earlier when you came on. Two islands, but we one country. Some of us grew up in the secession period, but if we are looking for St. Kitts and Nevis relationship between those two islands to strengthen up, we have to get those constitution and electoral reform done. If we don't get those things done now, St. Kitts and Nevis will just be how they are without real progress. We are just going around in circles. Once upon a time, I never knew we could have come home to vote. When I found that out, I've now made 2 trips home to vote, in the federal election in 2015 and the local election in Nevis in 2022. Me, I'm an advocate of trying to get all of those persons in the diaspora who is interested in contributing to their own country politically. I am advocating for changes to make that happen. Every citizen got to enjoy all the fruits of their citizenship. If we don't get these changes done, we are not going to get real progress in St. Kitts and Nevis. I left St. Kitts and Nevis in 1985, and up to this day, this morning I'm listening to a program on Win FM. We are still talking about lack of enough electricity and water. I heard this when I was a little boy in the village in Cotton Ground. If we are still hearing this now, from 40 years ago, 39 years ago, when I left Nevis, that means that our leaders have failed us. With all of that money they collected with the CBI program, St. Kitts and Nevis should be in tip-top shape. There should be no complaint about these shortcomings. None whatsoever. We should already done had a state-of-the-art hospital. Our roads should be immaculate. Our children, them should be going to the best of schools. And look at what you're saying tonight. The children, them can't go to school and drink water from the pipe. The parents, them now, got to be bearing more of a burden now to provide water for their children when they go to school. That's an extra burden now that the parents, them, going to have to absorb. It's a lot of BS going on in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I want to thank you for highlighting the death of that shining star, Simonette Williams, Dr. Simonette Williams. That was a shining star. The Federation has lost a shining star and nobody wants to talk about it.
Yep.
And I want to congratulate you for bringing her up again tonight. And I want to say condolences to her family, because that is going to be another mysterious, high-profile death that people in the Federation don't care about because it's not happening to them. This lady was not your family or my family, so we don't care about it until when it comes to our doors. But if we don't stand up now, it sure will end up at our doors. Every family in St. Kitts and Nevis is soon to have a victim of violent crimes. Just like that Christina disaster, what impacted both islands, the crime, if it doesn't subside or drop off, we are going to have, every family is going to soon have a member who is a victim of this violent crime situation. Whichever branch of the government that is to solve these crimes, they need to get working. Patches, let me ask you a quick question. Was there shooting today and was there shooting last Thursday in Newtown? Was there 2 shootings in St. Kitts recently? And I've seen somebody on the live chat tonight said that somebody might have tossed a stone into a tourist vehicle and a tourist got hurt with a rock. Somebody must have tossed a rock into a tourist vehicle. Can you say anything to those questions if you have the information so your listeners can hear tonight? And I applaud that person on the live chat. And I don't know if that incident is true, but if you get that information, just bring it forward. Thanks, man. I wish you the best of luck going forward, man. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you as well. Thank you for your contribution as always. Let us go back to the lines. I want to thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller. Are you there, caller?
Can you hear me? That's it.
Yes, you're live. We're not hearing you too clear though. Hello?
You can hear me?
Yeah, speaking to the phone. Speaking to the phone.
Yeah, speaking to the phone. Yeah, I just like to speak one for the week.
It sounds as if you're at a distance.
You hear me better now?
Not really, but try. Just try.
Okay. But I just like to tell everyone for the week.
Are you on a cell phone?
Yeah, I'm on a cell phone.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm on a cell phone.
Yeah, but why don't you put the phone to your mouth, man? I'm not hearing you at all.
To my mouth?
Yeah, speaking to the phone.
Hear me now? You hear me better now?
Not much better, but let's try. Let's go. Let's try. It's pain in the ear.
But, I start because and I just want to inform our people that we always talk about everything. So we know what the president-elect of the United States is going to take Greenland, he's going to take Mexico, he's going to take Canada, and he's also going to take back the Panama Canal. So when that does that us now as a people, especially here in CARICOM and in Caribbean. So if there's any vital minerals oil reserve, and there's some oil reserves that come to the and to so he's going to take those too. And we still are fighting amongst ourselves. So what I'm saying, I'm giving a shout out to time for us reunite and resolve our differences. This is a serious thing. The man is not joking. I'm saying to our people, 2025 was granted. We got to get it right. And the line is that we have to pursue and protect black people's interests everywhere and so. If you don't want to do that, that's all I have to say for the black people. Our people don't understand what the state is. And the leadership that we have, the present government, look like they operate in the world in isolation. That what's happening globally doesn't affect us. I'm saying to our people, 2025 time to unite. Give thanks for love. Our manifest, unity, solution. One black love, one Africa, and one Africa. That's what that is. Give thanks.
Thanks, my brother. I to apologize for the quality of the call. Somehow, at least in my headset, I was not hearing it quite clearly. I wonder if I recognize the voice as well, but it's someone who always makes some very good and strong contributions. And yes, the water, well, the caller asked about gunshot. I'm not certain if, about tonight, but I know a couple of days ago, I think it was, there were some gunshots fired in the Newtown area. I saw information with someone who got damaged. I cannot confirm that it was in fact a tourist, but I saw that information where someone got damaged. But I can't really say it is a tourist, but it's a serious bit of damage as well, my Straight Dog family. But let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
You still have Dr. Joe picture up.
Oh,
we can't see you.
Thank you for that. Why would I have him up? Thanks a lot for that. Let's go back to the lines. Why would I have Dr. Joe's picture up? You're so right, my Straight Dog family. Let's go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Oh, the caller hung up. I'm sorry, caller. I had you there holding for too long. I do apologize for that. If you are so minded, then you can call me back right away. But yes, we have the issue with water in the schools and the high schools, and someone reminded me as well, which should be expected because Washi is not too far from Basti High School. But let's go back to the lines and take this call. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Liburd.
Good evening, my lord. How art thou?
Not as anywhere as good as you.
Well, all that glitters is not gold, my brother.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll accept it until I prove otherwise.
Okay.
Anyhow, listening to the round table talk on what, Tuesday this week or Wednesday, whatever day it was?
Tuesday.
I found some of the discussion very interesting. What I observed, though, is that our Prime Minister has a problem with memory. He doesn't seem to remember anything before February 2015.
Yeah.
Everything before that is a blank for him. He only can remember as far back as the previous government. He doesn't remember anything that Douglas did. I don't think he's afraid of Douglas, so he don't want to talk about it. But anyhow, one of the things he mentioned about was the SIDF. And he said that the Minister of Finance under the Unity government, which was Timothy Harris, used to talk about surplus after surplus and that kind of thing. And what he's basically saying that he was using up the SIDF money to pretend that he was having surpluses. But The problem, though, the way I see it, though, is that when Unity came in, you with me?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Of course.
When Unity came in, they came in and inherited a hell of a debt from the previous administration, the Douglas-led administration.
Yes.
Think about it.
IMF.
There was an IMF of well over 200 billion.
The Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Yes, we owe them over 100 million for diesel.
Land for debt swap.
The land for debt swap.
Still owe.
And we also had another $60 million there for severance payment,
exactly.
which was held back from the sugar workers.
Exactly.
So all of that had to be paid because Sengis at the time had one of the highest debts per capita in the world, 200%.
That's right.
And when Unity was finished with all the debt payment, they got it down to about 52%, which was the expected level, the normal level.
Right.
So he's falsifying things. Either that or he doesn't understand money. I don't know which one. Maybe Timothy Harris should run a class and invite him to attend the classes on finance. But as he said there was Timothy Harris went in February 2015 with a surplus of $313 million, and when Drew came in August of 2022, there was only $10 million in the SIDF. But he forgets that there was a massive amount of debt that was there before. And that's the crazy part about it. And he must consider these things. Maybe he knows, but he's so deceptive that he ignores the facts, unfortunately. Because the Labour government before the Unity government left a massive amount of debt, probably the highest debt for GDP in the world at the time, 200%. And the Unity government did a miraculous job in bringing it down to about 52%. So you should be complimenting the Unity government.
You know, I'm sorry to interrupt you, caller, right? You know, every time you listen to the Prime Minister, my grandmother would say, he makes you sin your soul, you know? I mean, the idiotic things he advanced, you know? I mean, what was the point in talking about $300 million was there in 2015? Let's say he was right. And as a matter of fact, Ernst & Young did a forensic audit and gave a report. And I vaguely recall, I'm not too certain, I'll have to ask the third Prime Minister, but I vaguely recall that it was tabled in the Parliament, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know what's his motive. He's sickening, really. Instead of go forward and govern the country, you know, he just going back in this quagmire, you know. And
he only going back for limited period.
And then he said the CBI is different. He said the CBI is different to the SIDF. The CBI, you know, this is such a nonsense he speaks, you know.
Well, another thing he said too, which I thought was a little bit odd. He mentioned that Len Harris had brought a case against Development Bank, suing Development Bank. Mm-hmm. And somebody asked him, what about the case about Development Bank suing, there were some charges against Len Harris or something of the sort. And that seemed to have been dissolved because, as from what he said, there seemed to be no case coming out of that from that angle.
He was lying all the time. There was no case.
Yeah, he told us in September that in 3 weeks' time they're going to hear about the case against Len Harris.
Right.
October came, you didn't hear anything. November came, nothing happened. December came, it's carnival, so then I want to bring any case against Len Harris for whatever he accusing Len Harris of in Development Bank. Len Harris now brings a case, and he uses that to say that there's no case against Len Harris. But why lie in September? He dramatizes things, he says things just to make it so good in the ear, but it's far from the truth.
Oh yes.
Please to go and help the man.
I wish I could.
Yes, he didn't think the mail is a Jew.
I'm not too certain.
Have a good night.
Have a good night as well, my brother. Have a good night. Let us go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding your live. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Yes, a pleasure. Good evening to you, Patrice. How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm giving God thanks.
I see those dimples now.
Yes.
Yes.
And we must tell Dr. Raya Pepper that it is time now to come off an old saying and get into the new saying. This is 2025. Every time he talks, he always gone back down. Hold on, Patrice.
Yes, please.
Yeah, every time he talk, he gone back down at 2015. He now move from 2015 and nothing talk. Tell him this is time now for you to leave them there and start a new phase. This is 2025. And when he have his own tables, them bring out some of the ministers them that they can answer their own question. I will let you know if because they can't tell us much lawyers that's the reason why he wanna come and he ain't bringing on. Tell him please, and he talk about how is them there some kind of thing in the parliament say they're gonna take 80-something%. And he take 20-something%, but he not say why be 20-something, but he say they ain't take no 33, they take 20-something%. Tell Dr. Pepper, lawyer Dr. Pepper, that it's time now for he to come out with some old idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot for your intervention. I do apologize for the quality of the call as well. My Straight Talk family, the lines are still open. We have some 21 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. If you have joined me for the first time, remember that Straight Talk is heard every Monday and Thursday from 8 to 10 in the PM. Oh, I have this caller, holding caller. I am sorry to have had you holding caller. You are live. Hello, caller.
Hi, good evening, Patches.
Good evening, my dear.
Patches, good night.
Good night.
Marsha here.
Happy New Year, my family.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Yes, I want the whole world to hear you. You have your equipment on, and it's affecting the quality of your call. Just step away. Just step away from it, then.
Yes.
Step away from it.
Yes, I'm clear now?
Yes, much clearer now, yes. Thanks.
Okay. Patches, good night again.
Good night.
And Happy New Year to you, my family.
Same to you,
Patches, I want to say tonight, and I want to put this on record, and I know a lot of them that's been listening to Straight Talk. Right now, they're behind the radio and they're listening and they're taping, and I don't care. Tonight, I want to place this on record. A prime minister supposed to uphold the federation, uphold the law without fear or favor. Patrick, and everybody can vote for Labour. And everybody can vote for PLP. And everybody can vote for PAM. And everybody can vote for NRP. Anybody can vote for CCM. It's freedom of vote. People vote for who they want to vote for. And I don't think if you vote for a party, they're supposed to victimize you, they're supposed to slander you, and they're supposed to do all kind of evil manner of things on you. Listen me, Patrice, tomorrow God spend my life going to make 29 years. 29 years, not days, since I am a fire officer of this federation, the longest female serving. I'm proud and I'm very firm, I'm strong. The longest female fire officer in St. Kitts. I want to place this on record. The longest fire officer, 29 years tomorrow. And Patrice, what I'm saying, the government, the Minister of National Security, supposed to look at these things and they must know and commend people accordingly to what they do, what they do for the nation. What I am saying too, as again I said earlier, that everybody could vote for Labour, anybody could vote for PLP. I am a proud PLP and I'm not going to back down, I'm not going to stop. I love Dr. Harris. I love Dr. Timothy Harris daily from the bottom of my heart, and he's my friend, and he will be forever be my friend, right? And I said I was a Labour for over 40 years, and I'm now a PLP for probably 7 years now, or maybe going for 7 years now. What I am saying, I want to thank Dr. Timothy Harris from the bottom of my heart for all what he has done for me in my life, because I can proudly say that I get promoted as a corporal, a fire sub-officer under Dr. Timothy Harris when he was reigning as Prime Minister, right? And I said that the things what I am seeing now, things not going well in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and this thing not going well. When people talk about this thing not going well, some people, they don't like to hear it. They don't like to hear this thing not going well. So I know people gonna come at me because I make a Facebook post and other people calling me and saying waiver. I think that it's freedom of talk, freedom of speech, and freedom of post. People do whatever they want to do with their life. Patrice, once again, I must say to you that I have so many things to talk about, but like how it's the eve of my anniversary, and I want to celebrate it tomorrow night with my Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, gala tomorrow night. I don't want to, stay too long. I want to take my rest. That when I go to the gala tomorrow night, I want to look fresh and good to pose up with my Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, to take my pictures with him. Anyhow, Patrice, Sunday, I didn't see on church. In church on Sunday.
That's my church. Of course I was there.
You was there?
Zion is my church.
But I was looking for your Patrice to take a picture with you, but I didn't feel.
You don't have eyes for me anymore. That's bad. 2025.
Patrice, the amount of people was there by the church. We had a full crowd. We had a full amount. The amount of people that was there Sunday. I said, wow, Timothy must be in power, because that's the same crowd we had when he was in power. Just saying. But Patrice, again, I said, you have a good night and nice talking to you. Happy New Year. And I'm fully back on chain right now with Straight Talk. So you're going to hear much more and better things coming forward. And Patrice, one of these nights I want to, join you on your show too.
No problem. You're always welcome.
So you just let me know.
Yes.
And yes, I'm going to be there. Okay, Patrice, get home safe and be careful and have a blessed night.
Thank you very much and congratulations. 29 years. That's a long time.
29 years. Yes, I'm going strong.
That is an example of stability. Thank you very much. Right? Let's go back to the line, and I want to thank this caller immensely for holding. Caller, are you still there?
Yes, I am, and I'm humble and patient.
Oh, you'll make a good politician, man. You'll make a good leader.
Thank you.
Patience is a virtue to say. Yeah.
Before I move forward, that lady that spoke, what's her name, Marsha?
Yes.
All right. Marsha, I am 100% agree with you. I've heard you several times, but I wanted to a moment when I can hit the ball over the fence. And that's a 6. Anyway, I believe in freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom to where you need to vote. Because all cannot vote for one person. There have to be mix in the mix. Vote for who you need to vote. If you're going to praise Dr. Harris, praise him tenfold more. You vote for who you need. So I second that motion. And I third it also.
But let me jump to what I really was coming in with before the Marshall issue. Now, early, sometime back, I had made a comment on the environmental levy, where a person purchased a car from overseas and all these levy price levied against these vehicles. And I'm not going to go through the charges per car in respect to their age. But one of my quests in my promise to the people, all I can do is promise. And at the same time, promises are comfort for fools. I'm not going to say I will, I shall alleviate that environmental levy tax because it is baseless and no taxation without representation. If the government need to be levied these tax, whether it's 5,000, 3,005, or 1,000, they fall in categories. There should be an apparatus to make that call and that assessment of that kind of levy. It is wrong, it is theft, and government is continuous. But government must study what they are getting into when there are and there is changes. They haven't studied this thing. And when they tabled that act in 2000 and become law in 2001, it's continued until today, 2025, and moving forward. And until that being challenged, which I challenged the sources where it was tabled and it was sent, it was said to be, it was the IMF who caused them or lead them to do that. But I'm going to say to the IMF, bad shot, bad call, wrong direction, and that have no directive. And I think in this administration, if it has not mentioned, it should have mentioned, because Daya Ascofan knows about it. Stop charge people for these unrepresented issues. No taxation without representation. And I will do just like the Americans to the British with the Boston Tea Party. Okay. Also, the levy, the relief that the people need incentives. There was so much money in the CBI. It is about investment. And where is the money? Where are the investment? Look at the infrastructure. It's still the same old, same old. Nothing has been done. No enhancement. I'm criticizing them from the bottom of my foot to the top of my head. Vice versa. Okay. Nothing is being done. It's promises. And promises are comfort for fools. And y'all got to be a damn shame. I'm going to blaze it on you all. I shall do it if I get my chance. People, give me a chance. This is dignity speaking, and my dignity is your dignity. And your dignity is mine. Thank you for having me. I'm out. Bye for now.
Thank you very much. Let's take these emails. The Ballad of the Leaky Bucket reads this email. To the tune of There's a Hole in My Bucket. Dr. Drew, there's a hole in the bucket. Dear Congress, there's a hole in the bucket. Dear Congress, a hole. Congress, Minister of Utilities, then fix it. Dear Drew, dear Dr. Drew, dear Drew, then fix it, dear Drew. And to control, Jeffrey, Minister of Education, use books, dear Drew, dear Drew, dear Drew, use books, dear Drew. Then they quench their soul. Dr. Drew, but thirsty kids, dear Jeffrey, dear Jeffrey, dear Jeffrey, need water, not speeches to make them feel whole. Marshall, Minister of Tourism, sell it as scenic, dear Drew, dear Drew. Sell it as scenic, turn leaks into flair. But the tourists laugh. Dear Marshall, they see through our spin. There's nothing but air. Oh, Basti High, how you've been betrayed by leaders who patch but can't make the grade. Their bucket keeps leaking. The ideas all fail, and the cruelest Jew government sinking the pail. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Thank you for holding. Hello, caller.
Good night, my friend.
Good night, sir.
Happy New Year and all the best.
Same to
That's
you.
all I'm calling you for.
Same
Continue listening.
Thank you very much, and have a healthy New Year as well.
To you also.
Yes, okay, my brother. Thanks a lot for calling. Yes, it's now 9 minutes before the 10 o'clock hour. As we wind down tonight's programming, let me dispense of the emails. Do they think before they talk? That's the caption of this email. Good night, Mr. Liburd. Happy New Year. Do these people think before they open their mouths, such as July, who is talking about a bucket with holes in comparison to a bucket with no bottom? Do Ison Philip realize the impact of her statement of how she was able to pay off her student loans so quickly after they took food out of the mouth of so many families and children who also have no water at school? Is it that people should be happy with buckets with no bottom? We are in crisis, Mr. Liburd. July Labour government has got to go. I think that's the general consensus. We can't wait until they really go. Plug the holes, Dr. Jew. Mediocrity is not leadership. Dear Patches, Dr. Jew's infamous proclamation that a bucket with holes is better than a bucket with no bottom is a glaring testament to the mediocrity his administration expects us to accept. Such a statement would be laughable if it weren't emblematic of a government floundering in its inability to address basic issues like providing clean water to one of the country's premier high schools, Bastille High. The analogy intended to justify failures instead highlights the government's patchwork approach to governance. A bucket riddled with holes is not a solution. It's a liability. It leaks resources, trust, and credibility. Much like his administration, imagine a student handing in an incomplete assignment, claiming it's better than no work at all. Would we praise that effort or demand better? The same standard should apply to the government. Dr. Drew's comment isn't just tone deaf. It's an insult to the intelligence of the people he serves. Leaders should aim to fix problems, not romanticize their inadequacies. A bucket with holes, no matter how poetic, is still unfit for purpose. My straight dog family. And this is what he said.
A bucket with no bottom. We have a bucket with some holes in the bottom. But that is better than a bucket with no bottom at all.
Imagine that, my straight dog family. Let's go back to the lines. Scholar, thank you for holding your life.
Hi, Patches.
Huh?
Patches?
Yes, my dear. Yes, my dear. You're live.
Yes. To add to what I said earlier, ministers of government should not tell lies. Somebody just WhatsApp me and said there has been reaching out to some of the ministers of government. They gave them the number and they're not answering the phone. The ministers of government, I'm appealing to you all. You are put there by the general public to serve and to serve with distinction and not serve your people alone, to serve the entire federation. And if you continue doing this, people are calling, reaching out to you all for help, and you are not answering your phone, you're declining the calls. Payday gonna come. Payday gonna come. A word to the wise is enough. Payday gonna come because God don't like those kind of things. And election day is payday. Mine. All ministers of government, people are saying that they are trying to contact you all. You all see them on the street. You give them your number, and they're trying to reach out to you all to call back. You say, call me, man. I'm going to start with this. Stop telling lies, stop fooling people. God don't like those kind of things. The ministers of government put there to serve and to serve with distinction. Stop telling lies. Stop do those kind of things to people.
Okay.
Okay, Patches.
Thank you.
A word to the wise is enough. Payday is around the corner.
Payday will come. Yes, my dear. Ecclesiastes 3 say there is time for everything, and everything on earth has its special season. There is time for politicking and a time to govern. July need to govern is this email. Yes, he has not governed for 2 years. Good night, Patches. It seems like under Dr. Ju's leadership and his failure as the Minister of National Security continues to spiral downward as he places his yes men in positions. Beg your pardon. Another senior defense officer is currently under investigation for sexual harassment of a female soldier. The senior officer is slated by the Jew administration to be the deputy commander and is currently a unit commander in the defense force along with his incoming African commander. Attempts are being made to cover up and silence the female, as they have since a report transferred her to another unit instead of dealing with the officer. As we have seen by the 2 years sentencing of another senior defense force officer in December for sexual assault of a soldier, why is the Prime Minister allowing the other senior officer to continue working and not put him on leave while the investigation is ongoing? Are women not safe in organizations under his leadership? How can he be promoting women and gender equality while allowing this new sexual harassment case to be buried? I hope the media does their job and sheds some light on this cover-up. Former abused soldier reads this email. Just a question, how is extrajudicial spelt? Well, you've spelt it right, it seems. And some people put a hyphen between the A and the J, but you've spelled it right nonetheless. Patches, I heard Dr. July said that the government has signed an MOU with Christopher Harbour, and he will be making a statement shortly. Did we get back the millions of dollars they owed the state, or did July wipe off that debt? I hope we will be getting back our lands and the millions of dollars. This guy July liked to make deals that the country would not be benefiting from. He just talks a lot of crap. I haven't heard that. Yes, Christopher Harbour should have handed up some 450 acres of land. I don't know what deal he would have made. Trust it's in the best public interest. But can we expect July to do anything? And my Straight Talk family, that's the way we're going to end it tonight. And I'll take my wrap now. I think I've handled all my calls, yes. I have nobody holding. And my Straight Talk family, the country is in crisis. And the Jew has confessed himself that we are in a crisis mode. He said this.
The CBI came to a crisis point. Water came to a crisis point. Energy and electricity came to a crisis point. These are the very basic things that you would need. Economy and national security came to a crisis point as well.
We are in a sad state, my Straight Talk family. And my thesis for tonight, I titled, Bucket with Holes Better Than Bucket Without a Bottom. And my Straight Talk family, as I said from the onset tonight, that instead of making a New Year's resolution, I did make a New Year confession. And my confession was from the heart, straight from the bottom of my heart. And I confess that every time I hear our Prime Minister, I'm embarrassed from the things he say. He insults your knowledge. he insults your intelligence, and the list goes on, my Straight Talk family. And he's not improving. It is normal, as I said, to make our New Year's resolutions. It's traditional, but I had to make that confession. Because it's extremely difficult. As a matter of fact, it is painful to listen to our Prime Minister, no matter what presentation he's making. It is difficult and painful each time he insults our knowledge. Every time he opens his mouth, no matter the occasion, he insults our intelligence and comes across each time as being daft with the idiotic propositions and other silly pronouncements he makes, my Straight Talk family. And at the last round table on Tuesday, someone asked me if he smokes or drinks. Caller, I'm going to guide you by the rules of brevity. You're famous for calling me when I'm rapping. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Patches, and that's exactly what I need. And to the callers before me, and to yourself tonight, indeed, the country is in a crisis. And so therefore, I take this time to encourage all independent-minded persons to come forward and run independently for the next election. And right now, it's the time to start doing that work and start talking to each other on both islands. There might be a independent underground movement that's going to come up for the next election. So those persons who are independent, I encourage you all to start getting your heads together and talking to each other on both islands. And we are pushing for an underground independent movement for the next election coming forward. And thanks a lot, man, for hearing me.
Thank you a lot as well for your normal contributions, always thought-provoking. And yes, my Straight Talk family, he spoke about our indigenous population. What was he talking about? I asked myself. But we have been warning the nation for the past 2.5 years that Prime Minister July was squandering opportunities for future national development and prosperity. And now we can see the devastating consequences every day. The cost of groceries, electricity outage, forced to rent generators, 6 generators at $10 million annum. $10 million US dollars, that is. Shortage of water. Now in the schools, my Straight Talk family. We got this from the Basti High School. But the Washington Archibald High School is just next door. So, we learned as well that Washi is also affected. So even the schools now have been affected, my Straight Talk family. A budget deficit because of a serious reduction, my Straight Talk family, in CBI revenue. And I should have played that soundbite for you tonight. But I like a line from Unexpected when he said these cabinet ministers behave like pigeons. They're always in the air. I like that line from his song. I showed you the Director of Audit Damning report, my Straight Talk family, about the overspending of $250 million in a fiscal year. $250 million, my Straight Talk family. They overspent. And my Straight Talk family, there's a hole in the bucket. Prime Minister, you said that. But that hole needs plugging as quickly as possible. We cannot subscribe to your rationale, Mr. Prime Minister, that the bucket with holes better than the bucket without the bottom. Imagine you said this.
A bucket with no bottom. We have a bucket with some holes in the bottom. But that is better than a bucket with no bottom at all.
I don't subscribe to that rationale. But my Sweetalk family, this Prime Minister, before his term is over, must take responsibility for his lack of management skills and most of all taking action to plug those holes. He needs to plug the holes. And the other important point I must make before I depart is that the systems and processes of the government have been incapacitated by the July's administration corruption, waste, and mismanagement. I told my Sweetalk family about the raping of the government treasury. Millions have been raped from the government treasury for the RLB Museum and the water bucket or water tank scam. Millions have gone down a black hole, to use Dr. Drew's own words, my Sweetalk family. But when I listened to Dr. July's comment about the bucket with holes and the bucket without a bottom, I reflected on the 18th century folk song. I think it was German, I stand corrected. The two characters, Henry and Lisa, and several versions slightly differ, but all describe the deadlock situation. Henry's bucket leaks, so Lisa tells him to repair it. To repair the leaky bucket, Henry needs a straw. To cut the straw, he needs a knife. To use the knife, he needs to sharpen it. The sharpening stone must be damp, so he needs water. But to fetch water, he needs a bucket which has a hole in it, my Sweetalk family. The performance of July is what I call a lack of connection to real life impact, my Sweetalk family. $238 million deficit. More deficit coming. But every presentation made by Terence Michael July and his performance at his round table on Tuesday provided a typical example of politics with the idiom, the emperor has no clothes, would apply. My Sweetalk family, when it comes to running the country, there's need for a vessel that can sustain and effectively manage resources in much more fitting than the two options of a bucket with holes or a bucket without a bottom, my Sweetalk family. The key is balance, ensuring that resources are used effectively, sustainably, and in a way that ensures they don't leak away, while preventing overexploitation or misuse, which could be compared to a bottomless bucket where resources disappear without fulfilling the purpose. In a practical sense, this could translate to well-planned governance policies that encourage long-term stability, the equitable distribution of wealth, and sustainable management of natural and human resources. It's about building the vessel strong enough to withstand challenges and continue supporting the nation's growth and well-being, my Sweetalk family. The goal is to create a system where resources and opportunities are maintained and nurtured rather than drained or wasted. And this requires foresight, good leadership, and systems that allow for the ongoing replenishment and responsible use of the nation's supplies. And this speaks to the importance of building sustainable and effective leadership in governance. We are in a crisis, and July said that himself, my Straight Talk family.
A bucket with no bottom. We have a bucket with some holes in the bottom. But that is better than a bucket with no bottom at all.
My Straight Talk family, the quotation I got tonight, I make certain I don't forget it tonight. The hard thing is that even though you already caught them lying, they still make excuses to prove that they are right. We have a bucket with holes, and it's no better than a bucket without a bottom. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. I want to thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. As always, I want to thank all you listeners, those who sent emails, and those of you who called. Remember, all of you are the ones who make Straight Talk. And for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, and God's Spear. We will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until that time, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. Yes, I'm going to church, God's will, on Sunday, to the Zion Moravian Church. That's my home church. If you can't find a place to worship, you're welcome at Zion. But until we connect, remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Monday.
In the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, and for my mother's breath of life that's got me here. So whatever my mind conceives, that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now, I'll keep moving on, till I reach the top somehow, down on my knees.